Welcome back.
What are we entitling this episode as?
I don't know, but let's just say Make America Great Again 2024. And actually, I'm very disappointed because although I do enjoy this hat, I had proposed the idea of having a MAGA hat on today, but unfortunately, I want a legit MAGA hat. Like, I don't want a fucking Amazon, like some cheap fucking China knockoff. I wanted the real fucking deal, American made, baby. But it was like 3 weeks shipping just to get the order out, and I wouldn't have had, it just wouldn't come in time, and I was like, fuck, that sucked, because I really did think about it late, of course.
You should still get one.
I want to get one, I just wanted it for today.
Yeah, you both should get one.
Would you wear it if I got you one?
Yeah, I would.
Would you?
Yeah,
With pride?
with pride.
What does it say on it?
It just says MAGA.
Mega.
But like the official ones have, it's like the old 90s cap. It's got like that, it's like a boat cap, you know, like an old man's boater's cap, and it's got that piece of string.
Ooh,
Do you know what I
that's
mean?
Nice. Yeah.
Across the top. The
Yeah.
ones on Amazon don't have that.
Okay.
And they also have, it says 4547
Yep.
on the side, and then it has an American flag on this side.
Yeah.
It's a
Fuck yeah.
bomb hat. Like, it's legit nice
That's
hat.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry to even ask this, but what does MAGA mean?
I just said it. Make America great again. Are you serious?
Oh,
How do you not know that?
I was daydreaming.
It's okay.
Stop daydreaming during the podcast.
Wait, I want to ask Jess. So, why are you so involved, and why do you care so much about the American politics when we are in Canada?
Everything that happens in America affects Canada.
Right.
Everything that happens in the world, everything that happens in America affects the world. Whether people want to believe it or not, America is the ultimate power. Although right now they don't seem like they are the ultimate power. Everything that happens in the States makes its way north, right? So under Trump's presidency, if they have secure borders, we have secure borders, right? If they have good policies and good relationships with Russia and Ukraine, we don't have wars.
Right.
We're not involved in wars. The minute that America gets into...
It puts us in a position
It puts
of
us
having to decide.
into a position where we're an ally to America.
Yeah.
So if the U.S. is fighting the war against Russia, we're fighting the war against Russia. And I don't think we should be fighting a war against Russia. That's a whole other fucking podcast. Is like, am I a Putin apologist? I don't know. Call me one if you want to. I don't fucking care. I fucking like him.
Is that what people are saying?
Yeah, people are saying that if you like Russia, then you're a Putin apologist. And
How about you just don't like war? Why can't we just remember that?
Well, yeah, and like Putin's not trying to have war. Like, he's done everything. Actually, this is an interesting kind of maybe segue into this topic, is how up until I think, can't correct me on this, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think up until 2014, when I can't think of the guy's name, but up until 2014, Ukraine actually had a president that they elected, that the people liked, okay? And then, of course, Obama had to fuck it all up, and with him and Hillary, they basically had a coup. They staged a coup in the Ukraine, and they got rid of that president, and that's when they started to take control back again of Ukraine. Because, see, Ukraine had been under their own ruling guise for a few years, actually, because Ukraine's always been very corrupt. And then in the early 2000s, with Putin's help, actually, because they were not at war, they were getting along, he actually helped to keep things settled. And the rule was, you don't bring NATO any closer to Russia than it already is. You don't bring NATO to Ukraine, and we have no problems. You know why NATO was created, by the way?
Explain.
To defeat the USSR, the Soviet Union. So when the Soviet Union fell in late 80s, early 90s, that should have dissolved NATO right there.
But it didn't.
But it didn't. It actually strengthened NATO and made them more powerful, which is completely ridiculous. It goes against the whole point of what it was supposed to be there for. So,
Interesting.
So Putin says, okay, you guys don't bring Ukraine into NATO and everything's fine. Everything's fine. No, nothing's... Do you ever remember anything happening with Russia? No, you don't. You never heard anything until 2014 when they staged a coup in Ukraine, got rid of the president, and then they brought in, I can't remember the guy's name, can't remember either guy's name, but I know that the people were mad. They weren't happy. The real people, not the fake people that the media tells you. And then from there, that's when Biden started to get his hooks in. Because, see, Biden's been with Obama, right, since 2008. Okay? So Biden was already in Ukraine. His son was already working in Ukraine with this Burisma, the energy company. It's a well-known fact. And this is how the money laundering begins. And this is why and where the hooks of Biden get into the Ukraine government. And that's why they're pushing for NATO in the Ukraine. Because, you see, NATO... The Ukraine has historically been one of the most corrupt countries in the world.
Well, and I mean, during the whole COVID era and post-COVID era, the amount of money that Canada has funneled to the Ukraine war, I mean, it's astronomical how much we're funding.
Well, we're not funding it. We're laundering it. Okay, it's very important. People don't know this. People think we're sending billions to Ukraine, and they think it's going to Ukrainians. It's not. There's all these special. I don't know the word, but pieces of information that go into these contracts that actually state that you can't know where the money's going. Like, the whole point of it is that they can't really tell you because then they'd have to give away all of their secrets.
Right. So it's top secret
how we spend the money. So what happens is Trudeau sends the money to the Ukrainians, to the Ukrainian government, and then they take their cut, right? It goes right into their account. You don't know where it goes.
What a great way to steal taxpayers' money.
And then what happens is those guys, they send portions of that money back, okay, to the Clinton Foundation, to Biden's, whatever his thing is, whatever his charity is, okay? But that's what happens is you're asking, how do politicians get so rich? Like, how does a guy making $400,000 a year have, $30 million
It's white-collar crime.
in income? Well, He's made $27 million. We've just found that out at these Senate hearings, that he's received $27 million. This is why they're going to impeach him, Biden, because they've found $27 million that he's been given back from these energy companies and from different this, that, and the other. So it's super fascinating to me that people are still so blind and naive that they think that this is what's happening. But okay, so rewind. So you're asking why do I care? Why is it so important? So that's why, because when the US has poor beta male bullshit leadership, we get dragged in with them to whatever ridiculous war they decide that they want to fund. And again, who's making money on those wars? The military industrial complex, BlackRock,
Vanguard.
Yeah, and then who's the major military? What are they called? Look it up. The major.
In Canada, right?
No, in the U.S. In the U.S. Anyway, so the military industrial complex takes advantage of all these situations. They go into these small countries that actually probably like America, and then they ravage them so much that they end up hating America, right? And then you just create
They're under the guise of we're going to be helped, but then
but then now what you've done is you've brought American soldiers in, you've ravished a country, you've completely ruined it, and now you have the jihad. Now you have all of the countries that you ravished that hate America and become our enemies.
Right.
The Western way of the world's enemies. If it's an American enemy, it's our enemy, right? So, did you find out who it is?
Like the defense contractors.
Yeah.
So there's the North Grop.
No, that's not it. No.
General Dynamics,
Oh,
Lockheed Martin.
Yeah,
like
Lockheed
Boeing.
Martin.
Yeah.
Lockheed Martin. That's what I was trying to think
Gotcha.
of. Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, which
There's
is interesting.
Boeing.
Yeah, and then there's another thing about Boeing too that recently happened. A judge in one of the states just threw it out. By the way, you know how Boeing won that. Boeing lost that case.
Yeah.
Now a judge who's received $10 million from Boeing has thrown the case out of court. Like, it's just
there's so much corruption at these high levels.
And the thing that's hard is that when you have conversations with people that are brainwashed, like my stepmom, they don't seem to understand how deep the corruption goes. And the problem is that the media has really done such a fantastic job of spinning everything in such a way that they literally think that Trump has committed so many crimes.
The baby boomer generation is probably the most impacted generation with mass media, federal funded mass media. And because there's so much propaganda and persuasion and influence on their psyche that they have been indoctrinated to believe and to trust so deeply.
Yeah.
Federally funded news. Federally funded, number one, that's a red flag. It shouldn't be federally funded. It's going to be persuaded in their interest. Duh. But when we have these conversations with people that have been indoctrinated and brainwashed with mass media for generations, years, decades, that they are so stuck in those rigid beliefs. And because the influence of, I just know that CBC, you watch the CBC, how persuaded in one direction, how biased it is, and how much it influences people's emotions, which drive their behavior. So then when you have this conversation with your stepmom, and who's very heavily influenced when we talk about American politics, because she's interested in American politics, and you want to get into a conversation with her over it, it's parroting what she's heard on the news.
She doesn't have a single actual opinion of her own.
Right.
That's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
Is I'm someone that's come from, and by the way, let me just say this before I forget. Those defense contractors have what we call black ops in them, so that it's the same thing with the laundering of money. So we're saying that we're sending all of this money for the war in Syria, okay? And we send $12 billion. But what happens is the defense contractors, they don't have to report and keep track of what they're spending. We don't get to know that. All we know is that we gave them that money, and that's the end of it. They don't have to come back. That's why that's the loophole of not using the actual, because you'd think, why don't we have defense contractors when we have military? We have an army, we have an air force, we have a space force, we have the Navy. Why do we use defense contractors? Okay? Because they don't have to tell Congress what they spend money on. That's the key. Wow. That's the secret that people don't understand. It's not because they can do stuff that we can't do. Here's the bottom line. What happens is the military trains all these men and women, okay? And then once they get to a good a place of status, the military-industrial complex poaches them. Okay, so they don't work for the U.S. anymore. They get trained by the U.S. and then they get poached, and they get taken to GD or whoever, the contractor is that's going to have the contract to do the operation in Syria. So that's on purpose so that we and I'm saying we as Americans, I'm not American, I wish, we as Americans don't ever get to see what the money goes to. So let me just, like, I just had to say that and like make that clear. Now getting back to like the baby boomers, what you were saying about not having an independent thought and just parroting everything that they're hearing on TV. I think that's where we were going to go to. But
well, it leads to the conversation around, okay, we wanted to discuss American politics because it's heavy in our news and there's an election coming up. And there's a lot, and when there's an election, there's generally a lot of chaos that happens. There's a lot of distractions that happen. There's a lot of heavy media influence on how to think, who to like. And I mean, I don't watch a lot of the news anymore because I know it's not real, but, you know, I hear everything about Kamala, or her name's Kamala now.
oh yeah, now it's Kamala.
Right.
Maybe that's more black. Is Kamala more black than Kamala? I think Kamala is pretty black, but maybe Kamala.
Well, I mean, the entire time that she's been a vice president, what have you heard about her? What has she done?
Maybe, I don't know if maybe Laura can edit stuff in later. I can send her, but there's so many videos of her in the 2019 primaries where she's only identifying as Indian. She's identifying as an Indian American. And flip over to the 2024, and now it's the last 6 weeks. It's been such a push in the media to make her out to be
Black?
Well, at first it was African. It was African American. That's what people were saying. We have to have the first African American female president. But even if we're going to let her play the black card, because I mean, her dad is Jamaican, so she's half Jamaican. But I hate to break it to people that don't know geography very well, but Jamaican is not African. It's Caribbean. So even if we want to give her the half card to play, like I always say I'm half Italian, like I'm proud of that. I'm half Italian.
Sure, yeah.
So
But she was saying she was African American? Or that's what the media's
I'd have to look for a clip and see if I could actually if I could prove that she said that. Because I'm sure that she has said, and us African Americans, when she's in the South and she's playing her other part, like the black part, I'm sure she said us, like, or what do you got?
Kamala?
Kamala. If you want to be politically correct, which we do on this show,
has long identified as black.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Well, are you on Google?
I am on Google.
Okay, so fuck everything that you say is like irrelevant.
Where would you like me to look?
Of course they put that though. Has long identified as black.
As black.
That's an interesting way to put it.
I know.
But like, first page of Google, that's what you're gonna find. First page, right? It's just like, you can call me a liar, but Alora and I had the conversation weeks ago where I said, you got to go on Google and you got to try and search Donald Trump assassination attempt. And you would put Donald, like you'd write Donald, and it was coming up like Don, like I'm just going to give you an example, Don Cherry. Like it would say everything but Donald Trump. And then you'd have to write Donald. And then you'd get to Trump. And then it would say Tower, Donald Trump Tower. Donald Trump, like it's not going to say anything about 2024 election, assassination attempt. Like his name was completely ungoogleable. You could not find it.
But this is all part of, the big tech is part of this.
Absolutely.
This big tech is part of influencing public
Absolutely.
opinion.
So speaking of big tech, I haven't posted any reels this like last go. And I know Laura's annoyed, and I would be too, because she spends a lot of time doing it. But I'm not getting any views on anything. Like I am so shadow banned, and I'm nobody. I'm a loser from Southern Ontario with like I've got no platform, nothing.
But that's how badly
That's
they
how
need
bad
to
it
censor.
is. That I can't. I'm usually getting somewhere between 4,000 and 12,000 views on a reel. Okay, and I had one comment, and it was you.
Yeah.
There's Laura.
And I had like 20 shares, or I don't know what it is. No views, nothing.
Do you think because Zuckerberg came out and actually like admitted that they did do all this stuff throughout COVID, do you think it'll change now?
It's not changing. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. It's just as bad as it was. I feel like I'm where I was at during COVID?
Yeah.
When everybody, like, I couldn't, every week I was in jail.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get out of fucking jail. I was just constantly
Instagram
in jail.
Yeah.
Facebook jail mostly. Instagram wasn't as bad, but then it started to get pretty bad. And then over the last couple years, I've been able to, like, get a bit of traction on my account. Still not very much. I still only have barely over 1,000 followers. Like, I haven't been able to get much traction. But my reels, if like I followed Laura's protocol with the trending music and the hashtags and all the things, I had a couple, like, 15,000 views. Not bad. And then it's just over the last 8 weeks, the word tranny has gotten me into some trouble. And I'm in trouble for, this is new. I'm in trouble right now for things like comments, like using the word tranny got me into trouble last week. But my account is suspended in all corners. Like, I am not able to
Well, I can't collaborate with you.
I'm not able to go live for like 186 days. I've never gone live. Like, big fucking deal. Like, who the fuck does that? I've never done that in my life.
And
so
if I tag you, it's the notification comes up. Are you sure you want to tag?
Yeah.
Me?
And if anybody tries to follow me,
They
get
the
a notification saying, "Are you sure you want to follow at Jess the Tomboy?" She repeatedly posts false information. I get screenshots from people all the time. I get screenshots from people all the time. I tried to follow you, and this is what happened.
Wow.
And then they'll usually say, "Because that came up, I know you're my people,
Yeah.
and I'm going to follow you anyway." But for other people who, like, maybe trying to, okay, like, there's a lady in the States that Jen and I know, a huge dyke, and she's black, and we're a friend of ours. We stayed at their home, like, lovely, lovely, lovely lady, and she has a wife, and lovely people. And I'm heavily trying to convince her that she's on the wrong side of history here. And she lives in Florida. She's very pro everything but Trump. And when she would imagine if I send her something and then it says, "Are you sure?" Like right. I send it to her, she clicks on it, and it's going to say, "Are you sure you want to see this?" Because it's just making her feel like everything that I'm saying is a lie.
Yeah.
It's just more fuel for her fire to gaslight me that I'm a lunatic.
Yeah.
So they have it really mapped out quite well.
It's very smart. It's very smart, but it's, the amount of censorship that's happening, and even more so even for somebody who, like, we're just like small town people, that right there speaks volumes about how badly they need to keep this hush hush. That speaks to desperation to me. Mm-hmm. I got to control everything that comes out of your mouth because I don't want other people to hear it. Yeah. Because it is a threat.
Do you ever wonder why people don't ask questions more about why? I always find that fascinating. Why aren't people interested in why I believe what I believe? Why? When I don't ever delete a post. So you can go back to 2017 when Donald Trump got elected. I've said this before, and I have this post of him, and I'm like, we're in for a ride. Like, I was so worried about Trump getting elected because I was on the other side. I was a lefty. I was brainwashed. I was an awake person that went through a traumatic event that rocked my head and shot me into, like, it's actually interesting now that I kind of put that together. It's like you got hit with the stupid stick. You know what I mean? I hit my head and it's like, no, no. I listen to TV now. Only. That's what I feel like I was. I feel like I was hit in the head and then I was retarded. And I was like, tell me more, Daddy. Please.
Jeez.
And it took the events of 2020 to come out of that. But I really feel like from 17 till 20, not 20 years, 2017 to 2020, I was in this state of, I was like I was like all the other people in the world that are retarded. Like I was one of them. That's so funny.
We both were, and even before we met, I remember, or maybe we
It must have had to do with you, because you were pretty woke when I met you. So I must have just been like very susceptible to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was vulnerable because my head was a bit mashed up, right? And then I was just so in love. I mean, I am, but I was at the time just so in love with you, and I just like thought you were so beautiful. I just had to be around you as much as I could. And like so if you said, "Hey, you want to come to my yoga class?" I'm there. And all those people were such bad influences. They were all so woke. And did you just lower my mic? No. They were so woke, and I feel like what? Keep talking.
Well, I remember having this thought when I lived at my condo downtown about Trump, because I remember being like, "Oh, I don't like Trump, but why don't I like him?" Because if people were to ask me like about that, I don't really have an answer, besides the fact that everybody says they don't like him, and so maybe I shouldn't like him either. And that's just like, that's the herd mentality that I was caught in before.
Right. Oh yeah, me likey.
Better Mike.
No, I think that's really interesting, because it was the same for me. Mm-hmm. And I used to, I never really watched The Apprentice, because I was in a different place at that time. I was traveling the world and living like a bum and living in the Caribbean. I just didn't watch it a lot. But when I was home, like in Canada, and it was on, I would watch it, and I thought he was very entertaining. I always really liked him. Now, also a huge wrestling fan here, and Donald Trump was always a part of wrestling. Like he would come out at WrestleMania, or he would come out on a special like Monday Night Raw or something, and he was fantastic. And so I always really liked him. But it was in that period where I was just in sort of like a zombie state, where I started to, believe the rhetoric of Justin Trudeau is good. Trump is bad. Hillary Clinton's good.
Right.
And I was just, with you and all your lefty friends, and it was what it was. And, I look back on that, and I think I understand I think that's why I care, because I understand how easily susceptible we are to
get
just
caught in it.
Getting caught in it and listening to what they're telling you. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about trying to tell people the truth, trying to get the truth out there, because I was so indoctrinated into not knowing what the truth was, that now I'm just worried that we're not going to be able to turn it around.
So I remember when we lived in London, and we would hang out with all of our neighbors, and we were talking politics, and this was after maybe Trudeau got in, and this was during like all the pandemic stuff, and you were talking about Trump, and I hadn't quite woken up to that stuff yet, but our other neighbor also said, "I like Trump too."
Who was that?
Jeremy.
Oh yeah, me and Jeremy are fucking.
Yeah, and I was stunned, but then when he said that, something clicked for me to go, what is all this about? What is actually going on? Because how come I don't understand? How come I'm only seeing one side of him?
Right. If my wife, who's super gay dyke, likes Trump, and Jeremy, who's a really nice guy, like a really cool guy, and he likes Trump, he's not a misogynist, he's not a fucking prick, he likes him.
So what's actually happening? And so the more that I started listening to Trump, the more I started listening to interviews and started to watch other news besides CBC, you start seeing a completely different picture. You're getting a more rounded picture, a better scope of actually what's taking place.
Yeah. In a nutshell, yeah. And that's that's why independent journalism is just absolutely so important right now.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for, James O'Keefe in the States and, people aren't going to want to hear this, but Tucker Carlson, if it wasn't for, Megyn Kelly, Dan Bongino, Tim Pool,
Even podcasting.
Even Joe Rogan, even the Nelk Boys. I fucking hate those guys. Like I've listened to the Full Send podcast many times because I've tried to figure it out. Like I'm trying to figure out why people listen to these guys, because we have the same opinions a lot of the time. Like they're somewhat conservative to a degree, but they're also retarded. And I'm blown away at it pisses me off to a degree because, and this is going to come across as probably as it will, because it kind of sounds petty, but we put a lot of effort into our podcast, and I think we have a great show, and we don't get any listeners. Like we have so hi to our fucking 2 listeners.
And thank you for listening. Yeah.
And I'm blown away that these guys are getting millions of listens, and I'll be listening to them and I'm like, I can't hear them.
Oh, because they talk over each other.
They talk over each other. Do they even have a producer? Like Alora's walking around fixing mics. Like I can't hear them. I never hear what they're saying because A, they're talking over each other. B, they just don't have the setup, I don't think. They get up and walk around without mics, and then they're...
So why are they so popular? Why is this... Like, why are they so well known?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how they get I don't know how they get the guests. Like they're really good friends with Dana White, so they get. They get they get everybody on there, and all they do is talk shit, and they don't have good questions. Like they don't have they basically make one guy's retarded, and every time he says something so stupid, like they said they were interviewing I think they were interviewing JD Vance maybe, and they were talking about the Trump assassination, and one guy basically said like, I think Trump's kind of a pussy because he came out in a Band-Aid the next day. And everybody kind of stopped and was like, dude, like, do you even know what you just said? And he was like, what? And they're like, are you retarded? Like, he got shot in the fucking head basically, and you're like, he got up and fight, and then he comes out the next day at the RNC, and you're saying that he's kind of a pussy because he was wearing a Band-Aid. Like, he has an open wound on his ear.
It clipped his ear, and he also was the most courageous. That was the most courageous act of standing up to say, I'm going to fight, and then to come out the next day in front of millions of people.
It was so stupid. They ripped him a new asshole for it, and he
that's good, but
he eventually said yeah, that was kind of stupid. But my point is, I'm just trying to figure out. Well, I don't know why I said that, but I was just naming people that have podcasts that you hear that thank God for, because at least you get to hear the long. That's the other thing here. Let's talk about this quickly. Long form discussions.
Right. Yep.
So I've asked a number of people, including my dad and my stepmom, have you, because they hate, they just hate Trump and they hate RFK. And I'm asking, have you ever sat down and actually listened to a long form discussion in an interview that they've had? Mm-hmm. No.
They just see the clips that, CBC wants to put on to portray them in a certain light. But that's why independent media and podcasting is so popular right now, especially for our generation, the younger generations after us, because we are listening to those long form discussions. And I love listening to RFK speak. Mm-hmm. I love hearing
his voice.
You get it's getting better. But but what he has to say, it clicks, it 100%. Lands, and it's landing with so many people in the health community, because people that are health conscious care about themselves. Yeah. They care about the earth. They are the ones that are taking a lot of responsibility. And so they put effort into listening and hearing and being part of the change that they're wanting for the world. So when you listen to RFK, and he was on Aubrey Marcus's podcast, and it was really good, I started to, now I understand him. Mm-hmm. Right? When you have those long form discussions, you start to understand the actual candidate, and you're starting to see what they actually stand for, and there's more integrity there.
Kamala Harris hasn't done any interviews yet. Okay, and he does between 7 and 10 a day.
Trump
A
does?
day.
Or RFK?
RFK. It's Trump's is still. I bet Trump's doing 3 to 5 a day. Like he's all over the place. He's doing a rally every day. Trump is, and interviews.
Why do you think Kamala's not doing interviews?
Because she can't talk. Everything that she's saying right now is very scripted and very coached, and they're all in very specific places, like the DNC. She hasn't done a TV interview. She certainly hasn't done a podcast since she's been.
It goes to show you that this is puppetry. This is the best example of seeing somebody being coached to become what somebody is being molded to become for the puppeteers.
The thing that I like about RFK and Trump is that they're both open to change. This is the thing that I find very fascinating. If you asked Trump a couple years ago, he wasn't really interested in the women's in sport, LGBTQ, trans. Like he didn't really say, he would actually say, I love trans people, because he's been around them, like drag queens, New York. That's his,
right.
I know he wouldn't take his child to go see them, but he, like us, doesn't have an issue with adult entertainment. Okay. He's not out to get into a fight with trans people. Okay. But once people started to alert him to, and I think his son, Don Jr., is a big part of that, alert them to the issues surrounding that, that's when he started to say, oh, okay, actually, my opinion is changing. I have a granddaughter who's a golfer. She just accepted, I'm putting words in his mouth. She just accepted a scholarship to the University of Miami. That's true. And I don't want her to have to compete against a biological male.
That's fair.
I don't want her to be changing in a change room with a biological male.
Also fair.
So now he can see where the overall, I don't care about trans. It's a slippery slope, that there's other things involved in that
there's more
politic,
nuance, yeah.
And you have to get down, you have to dig, and you have to sift through, and you have to find the issues at hand. Because I don't have a problem with trans people either, in general. Okay, but I have a problem with the trans person that my daughter had to be last night when we were going to get the donuts for Alora. Abby and I were confronted by a trans walking out of the donut shop.
What happened?
Well, nothing happened. He didn't do anything, but Evelyn was like really kind of like taken aback by it. Like she was freaked out by it. So, because she was like, Mom, did you see that? That was for sure a trans. And I go, are you sure? Because I wasn't, because I just said, don't make eye contact, don't look, like I don't want an interaction, right? She, of course, did. And it was a he. Like, she was like, he had armpit hair, he had an Adam's apple, like, because, you know, she's so aware of what I'm telling her. She knows that she sees everything. And so she was kind of freaked out by it. But they didn't do anything. But then I was pissed off because 10 minutes later, we're looking across the street and that person's shooting up drugs at the church.
So there was just a discomfort around that person's energy that she felt unsafe.
Well, it was a drug addict. He looked creepy as fuck.
Yeah,
You're a
that's what I
fucking
mean.
guy. You're an Asian man trying to be a fucking girl. You look like a pock-faced drug addict. You're all scaly and skinny and...
What I'm saying is that there's more to the discomfort for
Yeah.
Avi, though.
Yeah.
Right? And that's reasonable because the vibration is not very good.
Right.
And so she gets her spidey senses up because what they look like is because we use the visual feedback in order to regulate our for our safety, as that's what kids do.
Yeah.
And they look at that and it creates a confusion in the brain.
Yeah.
And go, I don't get this, and plus I also don't feel safe with this person. They don't feel good to me. So all of her red flags are shooting off.
That's, yep, bingo. Really. I mean, so anyway, okay,
Anyways.
so back to Trump. So
Okay.
he doesn't really have a problem, but then he sees that there's some issues that we need to sort out.
Right.
Men and women's sports don't belong. Okay? I don't hate trans people. Trans have rights, but they don't belong here.
Correct.
Okay, fair. Now, RFK, you ask him that question. He said on, I'm pretty sure it was on Joe Rogan's podcast like 8 months ago, whenever that was that he went on. he said, what do you think about trans and trans children and whatever? And he goes, I don't really have an opinion on that subject. And Joe Rogan said, you better fucking get one. Am I right? I think that's what it was. And he said, well, what do you mean? He goes, this is a big fucking issue for a lot of Americans and a lot of people around the world for that matter. And you better get an opinion and you better do your research because this is a fucking problem.
Interesting.
So
That's
now,
Yeah.
So guess what? Because all I do all day long is listen and listen and listen. His opinion has gone from I don't have an opinion to, and listen, he's a Democrat. He was a Democrat. Okay. So his opinion should be, it's fine. So if he's going to take an opinion, you'd think it would be the easy road, which is it's fine. No, he does his research and comes back and he's over here and he says, no. He goes, look, I don't have a problem with trans people. They have rights, but biological men do not belong in female sports, and transitioning children experimentally with drugs and surgery that are irreversible, because it is irreversible, he says that equally, is not right. And
Right.
when a child turns 18, what they choose to do is up to them. The other thing
Reasonable.
The other thing that they said, both him and Trump, I'm sure, I know Trump for sure, that if you want to have a surgery to change your gender, that's fine, but the United States military ain't gonna fucking pay for it.
Also fair.
Which I was like, hello? You have all these retards just joining the army so that they can get a surgery paid for. That's what's happening. If you haven't, I don't have TikTok, thank God, but I get enough videos that I see from TikTok of these people doing these videos in the army, in their uniforms.
I
This
did see
is
that.
illegal. Like, this isn't
Yeah.
even legal. They're not supposed to be allowed to do that.
Interesting.
Right? Like, you're not supposed to be able to do that in your uniform. Private, like, stuff like that. You're not supposed to do that.
I just don't think taxpayer dollars should be paying for somebody for, like, we don't pay for plastic surgery for people. That shouldn't be something we should be paying.
It's because they've changed the definition of life-altering or life-saving surgery,
Life-
right?
In our healthcare.
Yeah. So they've changed the definition of life-saving, so that's why they're able to do it, because it's life-saving care. If that soldier had a heart condition, he gets life-saving care, or she, so they can have a heart surgery. That's fair. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
But that's where the slope got slippery, and that's where they tricked us into having
Well, life-saving, I mean, for gender, life-saving, I think you should be doing some counseling.
yeah.
You shouldn't be jumping to such extreme intervention.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But where we were going with that conversation was just that I like that they're open to listening and not being married to an idea or a thought.
That's true.
And that they're open to discussing. So,
And then going and doing your research and then being able to have an opinion.
yeah,
That does speak to his integrity.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, do you know that RFK recently endorsed Trump?
Yes, this is interesting. This is big news.
Okay, so let's talk about this, because a lot of people don't probably understand why and what exactly happened. So he didn't withdraw from the race. So this is, I want to segue this from they're open and they're open to ideas and change, because
Right.
now what they're doing is they're uniting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so this is really incredible. Like,
Yes,
this is
huge.
This is really
Yeah.
incredible that they're uniting. And people, again, are going to, the media is going to spin this in some communist manner. But what it is that they, it's funny because they're both very respectful of each other, Trump and RFK. I've listened to so many interviews of them both. Neither one will say a bad thing about the other. They're very respectful. They've definitely both said that they don't agree with the other on certain things, but there hasn't been any kind of,
Nasty.
rude, nasty. But, the Democrats mentioned Donald Trump's name 300 and something. I don't know. You could actually look that up. How many times did the DNC mention Donald Trump's name at the convention? And it's at least 300 and something, or 400. And the RNC, I know for a fact, mentioned Joe Biden over the entire 4-day thing 2 times. That's how many
Wow.
times Biden. It was about uniting the country. It was about policies. It was about the economy. It was about
Forward-thinking
forward-thinking discussions. It was not about
slandering the other
no.
party.
Do you have any? 271. Is that just in one day though? 150 times on the first day. Okay. Like, so almost 300 times. That's insane. It's insane.
That speaks volumes about their platform and how they do politics.
Yeah.
If they have nothing, if you don't have anything good to contribute, it's easier to attack the other person's character.
Right. Absolutely.
Than to
yeah.
talk about policy and what your plans are and how to make things better. You're just attacking the other party.
And that's why she hasn't had a long form speech, because she has nothing to say. She has nothing to say that people are going to want to hear about policies and forward thinking and uniting.
Right.
Because here's the thing. Anything that she says, you have to ask yourself, you've been in power for almost 4 years. Why haven't you done it? I'm going to fix the border. Why haven't you fixed it? You're the border czar. You've had almost 4 years, and we've had, they say, I looked this up today. They say 11 million people have entered the country since Biden's taken.
Wow.
That's not true. That's the number that's on the government. I looked it up. I think it's on the government United States government's website, but it's an estimated 20 to 30 million or more
Of illegals.
But they're telling you 11.
Wow.
But it's more like it could be up to upwards of 30 million and then some. It's pretty crazy. So Minnie, come over here.
She's getting trapped by the microphone. This podcasting with dogs.
So where we were going with that is the uniting. So he's endorsed him, but what he's done is he's left. Okay, so he's taken his name off of any ballot that it's close between Trump and Harris in a particular state. So let's say, for example, California. Let's say it was going to be a tight race in California. He's taken his name off of that ballot in California so that if you're someone who's not going to vote for Kamala Harris, okay, but you might have voted for RFK, now you're going to vote Trump because you're not voting Kamala. So he's basically told the 11% or whatever it would be in California that was going to vote for RFK. He said, you vote for Trump now.
Right.
Make sure that he wins because I don't want to split that fucking vote.
Right.
Because if I split that vote, Kamala wins.
Yep.
And he'd rather Trump than he would Kamala. He knows that.
Right.
So that's the plan. And then in the other states where it's a blue state, Kamala's going to win it anyway. He's staying in that race. So maybe in Vermont, he stays in that race, and instead of Kamala getting 75% of the vote, maybe she's only going to get 65. Right? Because he'll still get certain voters in that particular state.
I think that's smart.
It's very strategic. It's very smart. It shows that they're
working together.
Yeah.
They're trying to work together. Mm-hmm. And so he endorses Trump, and then Trump says that he'll make him, what was it?
Okay, so this is where it gets fucking good. There's 2 positions that people are talking about hard, and that is CIA director, which would be amazing, but a lot of people are saying that won't happen for various reasons. But CIA director or attorney general. So personally, as a conspiracy theorist, I would love for him to be CIA director because think of all the things that he may release, including his uncle and father's sealed CIA files from the assassinations.
That would be mind-blowing,
right?
If he shared that.
But if he's attorney general, I mean, this guy's one of the best litigators in the United States. Mm-hmm. He beat Monsanto. If anybody out there doesn't like the food issue, you have to vote for RFK or Trump. I mean, you have to. He beat Monsanto. He's beat Big Pharma. No one ever. He's the most, accredited lawyer in those areas. Like, I mean, this guy's taken Big Pharma to the cleaners. Now they still end up making more money than their profits are more than their losses, but it is a big deal.
Yeah, that's huge.
So it's Attorney General would be really cool because I do think that he could. I think that the corruption in the judiciary system in the United States and Canada is so putrid and deep that I do think it probably goes all the way to the Supreme Court. I really do. I mean, I hate to say that because I'd like to think that the Supreme Court is supreme, but I do think that there's corruption in the court system, and that it really. I mean, just the example of the Trump trial, for example. Anybody who followed that case closely in real time, not in the 3 major legacy news outlets, knows that Trump didn't get a fair trial. They know that the judge that convicted Trump, his daughter, worked for the Biden campaign and received millions of dollars in payments from the Biden campaign.
Oh my gosh.
And nobody thinks that that's a conflict of interest. Now, this Judge Merchan, also, at the time that he was convicting Trump, was going to gyms in New York State and harassing sexually women. And there's videos. I've seen it all. It was, and did the media cover it? Nope.
Who is this, sorry?
So there's a Judge Merchan, I think his name is.
And
he was the judge that convicted Trump of the 34 felonies, which is such fucking bullshit. And I'm not. He's
a dirty judge.
You guys are fucked. I'm not even going to waste my fucking time telling you about it if you don't even. It's so fucking retarded. But he convicts the guy that convicts Trump of these fake fucking charges.
It's dirty.
That Hillary Clinton and every other fucking person in the history of the fucking world has done the exact same thing. He's just the political opponent that they're trying to. Anyway, whether it's right or not, everyone's done it. So fuck off. His daughter worked, I guess, because he's no longer running, but with Biden, and received payments of millions.
There's so much corruption.
And that was in, like, the media. I'm not sure if it's James O'Keefe, OMG Media, that would be the one that broke that story. I think it was. If you look up OMG Media, I think he's the one that. I think James O'Keefe went and filmed him doing it or something like that. But yeah, it's really really crazy. That whole thing.
Just to put this out there, because my a friend of mine who's has been going through this awakening process herself, and yet she still posts bad things about Trump and videos about people saying about how he's a felon and he's got all these felonies, and yet he's still
80 years old, never had a criminal charge. Sorry, go ahead until this time, but go ahead.
But that's what I mean. But that she's still sharing those kinds of videos.
Yeah.
Which it's still mind-boggling that you can be awake to certain things but not see the bigger picture of in politics.
Yeah.
Like you see with our own government, the amount of corruption. It's in the it's so obvious in the States. It's so obvious.
I know.
And when you watch the news, you can just see what they're trying to push. It's so obvious.
Yeah.
Okay, you can watch for 10 minutes and go, okay, that's what they're pushing next. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating to me.
And they're pushing Kamala. They're pushing Kamala, whatever her name is, freaking name.
Yeah.
And that she's the savior. That she's this wonderful savior, that everything will be better when she's in. And then when you watch the interviews of people on the street going, being interviewed about, oh, yeah, you like Kamala? Well, what do you like about her? What policies do you like? And then it's crickets. Nothing.
Yeah. The other really interesting point of that is the Democrats have controlled the U.S. government for 12 of the last 16 years. Why is everything in such shambles? How is her her outlook, which we don't know, her policies, which we don't know, how is that going to save democracy? If they've been in charge all this fucking time.
Explain also, this is interesting. Explain how in the Democratic Party, how she was supported into this election in the most undemocratic way.
Okay, so a primary is what should have happened 2 years ago. Like Biden he was supposed to be a one-term president. He wasn't supposed to run twice. So 2 years ago, in 2022, when, Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley were all announcing that they were going to run for president of the Republican Party. This is when RFK announced that he was going to run for president of the Democratic Party. Okay? And this is when Tulsi Gabbard was considering whether or not she would run. And I'm trying to think of who other. Gavin Newsom, California governor. This is when all of the Democrats were kind of talking, and they'd go and do the circuits. But the interesting thing about the Democrats were they were very careful. And they never really stepped on Joe Biden's toes. They just said that if and when Joe Biden says that, if he says he's not going to run, then I would potentially be interested. So they're on the circuit and they're having interviews and they're doing all the stuff so that minute that he says, I'm not running anymore, we're in, right? But that minute never came. He never said it. So those people faded away into the background and it just became, known that Joe Biden was going to run and he would be the nominee. So it was interesting because RFK then at that point doesn't even get a chance, really, right? Because once the party picks and the president-elect right now says, I'm going to run, it's kind of, it is what it is. You can't really say that he can't run. He's not capable, because why is he president right now? If he's not capable to rerun for president, why is he president now? It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right.
So they couldn't say that he wasn't going to run, because if he did, then RFK would have had a really good chance of getting the nominee, even though people say he didn't have a shot in hell. I disagree with that.
Yeah, I disagree with that too.
I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Because I think he had a lot of independent votes.
Yeah.
And I think he would have had a lot of Democrat votes. Mm-hmm. So that's why they had to slander him, and that's why they had to go crazy. But anyway, once the debate happens, and everyone is wise to what we've been saying for years now, which is Joe Biden's completely retarded and suffering from dementia. And like, if it's even him, like, who even fucking knows? It was absurd. Now all of a sudden everybody's in the know that this guy is not capable of being the president, or
right.
at least continuing to run for president. So this is when you would have some kind of a very fast primary. Okay? Because the people of the United States of America did, potentially questionably, but they did vote for Joe Biden. They didn't vote for Kamala Harris.
Right.
Kamala Harris had the lowest, she didn't make it past Iowa. She was not a viable candidate for president ever. Okay? So when he dropped out, they should have had a very quick primary, because their convention wasn't until this month. It just happened last week. So they had time. They had 6 weeks, roughly,
right,
to get their shit together and to get some voting done so that they could have some kind of a primary, but they didn't do that. They did not do that at all. Instead, they got together over a weekend, and one by one, the head people in the Democratic Party came out and said that they give their, endorsement for Kamala Harris. Sorry, Kamala. Sir Camelot.
That's where my mind went to.
And it was so fucked up, because it was just like one by one. And like, let's not forget this. let's not forget that Biden's resignation was not on official White House paper,
Interesting.
like letterhead. No fucking letterhead. No signature. And it was signed the Bidens. I think it was signed the Bidens. It wasn't signed Joseph A. Biden, I think. It was signed the Bidens. So, I mean, I still don't even think that he wrote the letter. I still don't think that he's not capable of resigning, or they just said, you're fucking resigning and this is it. And he resigned on Twitter. Like, what the fuck is this? You just put out a tweet? Peace out.
I'm done.
I'm done. It's so fucking crazy that I just can't even believe it. And
unprofessional.
And then over the weekend, it was like everybody just, you know how, I can't wait for it. You know how there's that video of COVID when it's like, it starts off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 news anchors. Mm-hmm. And then you see the screen of like a dozen, 20, 30, and they're all saying the exact same thing. We in this community respect COVID-19 and it's
safe and effective.
And the vaccine, and they're just all in line saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And you watch that and you're like, my God. And it's so mind-blowing because right now it's literally happening. There'll be a video in like a few months of all of the news reports that went out that first week that all said the exact same thing. And everybody that hated Kamala, remember I told you her approval rating in April was 34% favorable, okay? And then by August 24, it's 93% of the Democrats. How in the fuck do you go from 34% to 93%?
It's about money.
In a matter of months. And you haven't said anything. You haven't told anybody what your platform is. You haven't said anything except you're going to fix the border that you've been in charge of for 4 years and have let in minimum 11,000 serial rapists, murderers, people from mental asylums in Venezuela, crime in South America. Do you want to know what the crime rate is in South America? Let's go. It's fucking down. The crime rate in South America is down.
And the crime rate in America?
Is up. Because all the fucking bad guys from those countries were told, go to the States, don't ever come back.
Isn't it true, too, that Kamala has never been to the actual border?
Okay, let's talk about that. She did go to the border, but she went to like a fake part of the border. Like it's not really...
For like a photo op.
Yeah, like that basically. And then she said that, this is mind-blowing. She actually said that the border guards union endorsed her, but they didn't. And the guy, the head of the union, was at the RNC with Trump, and he specifically said in a statement, we do not endorse Kamala Harris. We fucking hate her. She didn't do anything. We literally told her, we have all the tools we need. We have everything here. Trump put everything in place, and she said, do none of it. Stop doing all of it. And he's like, all we want to do is do our job. And we have been handcuffed for 4 years. We do not endorse her. We never endorsed her. We endorsed Trump.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But that you won't see in the news.
But the media shows you a fake, like a clip of some guy in the background, like some cop or something. And even he came out and said, I don't endorse her. That's not what I was there for. That wasn't what that was. I don't endorse her. I endorse Trump. But the media only shows you the fake clip.
So it just goes to show you how their platform, there's a lot of lies.
Yeah. We haven't even talked, I don't even know how far in we are, but we haven't even brought up the assassination. I mean, how far in are we?
Like an hour and a half?
No way.
It's an hour 6.
Oh, then, okay. All right. Let's go because that's something we've been wanting to talk about. So today's your day.
Okay, so recording date is the 29th of August, so this isn't going to come out for a bit. But nevertheless, it happened 5 weeks ago and it feels like 5 years ago because no one is talking about it.
Yeah, it's out of
old
the news. Yeah.
It literally happened and then it was over before, like, because, well, I guess it was all perfectly planned. So he gets assassinated right after the crazy debate. And then as soon as the assassination attempt happens, that's when, didn't they pull Biden, I think, right? Like the next day, basically. They pulled Biden the next day so that basically all the news coverage would go to Biden and Harris is new. And then once they pulled him out, then it was like a few days later, it was the introduction of Kamala. And then it just kept stirring from there. And nobody talked about it.
Distractions.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's just been this discussion that's been completely forgotten about. But I'll tell you, I don't know what the fuck happened. I have so many different theories on
there's so
what
many
happened. But maybe just ask me some questions and I'll just try to like go through because there's so much. So
well, when we watched it from several different viewpoints, there was a lot of things that didn't make sense. There was a lot of oddities that just things didn't connect, and so it made you question a lot of things. And I think the main one was about the shooter. So and a lot of information has been flooded
Matthew
about him
Crooks.
after. Yeah,
a
so
little
explain.
fucking pussy bitch. Looks like a little retard. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, so start by explaining like the shooting and like where he was placed.
So conveniently, he's got a dad who belongs to a gun club, so he's always shooting this AR-15. But apparently, the AR-15 doesn't have a scope on it. He's just using rail sights, which is crazy. I mean, actually, I guess it's not that crazy. For me, as someone who's recently taken up sport shooting, I think 150 yards with iron sights is very challenging for me. But I'm not a good shot.
And Laura, you were in the military, and you're saying
that's like I think that's a bit of, you have to be a decent shooter to make that shot, right? I mean, 150 yards with a sight, I'm not lying, that's even hard for me because I'm just not great and I don't see very well as it is. So that, like, I'm just trying to say that I shoot from like regularly 100 yards and maybe 50% of the time I'm making that shot. Like,
but when you watch the video of him, you can see him on the one building that is in direct line.
Get this. At this event, there's no communication live between the Secret Service and the Pennsylvania local police, the state and local police. There's both that are at this event. Okay, so at all these events, there's a lot of Secret Service, and then there's help from the local agencies. But this particular event, there's zero communication. They don't have any of the same channels or anything at all, so that I am in my headset and I'm hearing as a local cop, I'm hearing what the Secret Service, nothing. There's no communication, okay? So
interesting.
Right? So this building is supposed to be Secret Service, and then at the last minute they give the building to the local police, and there's supposed to be a guy on the roof, and then he's told that he's somewhere else.
This reminds me of 9/11. All these, like a perfect storm of all these things that just happened to get changed last minute or not be available, or like
yeah.
This is not how the CIA works.
No, the Secret Service.
Sorry.
But it's not how the Secret Service works or the CIA. I mean, that's not a good operation. There's one building. There's one building. They have one job to do. Actually, there's two, because there's the sniper that's right behind the stage on a building, right? And then there's this one random building in the middle of nowhere with a perfect shot. And there's a fucking guy that's able to walk in with a ladder. Because he walks in with it.
his gun,
he has
his
to
ladder,
bring
and
the
he goes
ladder.
up. Go on. And then, but the sniper has target.
Hold on, before you
okay.
even get to the sniper.
Okay, all right.
The guy is walking to the building with a ladder, and people around are now noticing. You can imagine a Trump rally. Okay?
Yeah.
There's no violence at Trump rallies. There's no fighting. Everybody gets along. There's no mess when they leave. You ever seen that? You ever seen that?
No.
You look at a fucking video. People that don't believe me, look it up on Google. Look it up. And look at what a Trump rally looks like at the end of it. And look up what, and they probably won't even show you this on Google.
Yeah.
And what a Democratic rally. They're fucking filthy, fucking disgusting piece of shits. And literal pieces of shits. It's disgusting. Okay?
Interesting.
You look up those Free Palestine movement things and where they go, and then you look up climate change, and then you look up the fucking mess that they leave behind. These people are disgusting. You look up a MAGA rally, it looks like better than it looked when they got there. It's okay. So anyway, so you can imagine all these MAGA Trump people, and they're all starting to say, hey, to the cops, because there are cops around. There's a guy with a ladder. Hey, there's a guy with a ladder over there. Hey, there's a guy putting a ladder on that building. Hey, there's a guy climbing up that building. Hey, there's a guy climbing up a building with a rifle on his back. He's got a rifle on his back. Hey, this is going on for several minutes before he even gets on top of the building, Jen.
Wow.
Then, once he gets up the building, and he's in the prone position, he's got time to get into his position, whatever. One of those cops finally climbs up, okay, on the other side of the building. And the shooter points his gun at him. So the cop drops. And I think he breaks his ankle or something. Like, he did injure himself. Like, he panics. Because what's he going to do? I mean, at first I kind of thought, what a pussy. But then in hindsight, let's put yourself in the position. He's climbed up like this. Okay, so he's got if he goes for his weapon, he's got one hand holding him up on probably like an eaves trough. Like, I get it, you could drop. So he drops, hurts himself. So now I don't know if it's because he's out, maybe I don't know if there's no other cop in a close enough vicinity, which seems insane to me.
When security detail is
It
the
seems
highest.
insane to me that he can't be like, Joe, get over here. I hurt my ankle. You got to get up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And by the way, where's the ladder? Okay, nobody can climb up on the side where Thomas Crooks just climbed up and use the same ladder. Now I can have my gun in my hand. As I can climb a ladder one-handed. Me. I can. No problem. I've done it before. Carrying a fucking 50-pound bundle of shingles. As a matter of fact. Up 3 stories. I've done that.
Yes.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Why can't he climb up the roof?
Yeah.
This is now like 5 minutes. This is crazy. Okay. Now you want to talk about the other sniper? Now the other sniper is saying in his headset, I see a shooter. Is he one of ours? He's aiming this way at the president. Permission to shoot. Denied. Permission to shoot. Denied. I can see him. He's loaded the rifle. Denied.
Interesting.
The initial shot is fired. Do not engage.
Stand down.
Do not engage.
Yeah.
So he shoots.
Allow
he
this
shoots at
shooter.
him, but he gets off like 3 or 4 shots before.
The sniper.
And the
shoots
sniper's just basically like, I can't.
And in good conscience, watch this.
I can't do this. So so as soon as he takes that shot, by the way, he gets fired. He loses his job.
That's messed up.
I'm sure that'll all change when Trump wins, but at the moment, he's lost his job. Okay, so he's down on the ground. And then of course we all know what happens next. He gets up, he does the fight.
Yeah.
Fight. which I was like crying. I mean, it was just so emotional. You felt so patriotic. I wanted an American flag at that moment so bad. I mean, I don't care where you're from, but if you are American and you live in America, that had to have touched you in some way.
Yeah.
Unless you're one of these crazy fucking communist jihads, then you'd think that, like, I mean, it touched me. I was just like, this is incredible.
Well, there's a lot of Democrats that spoke after that said, I wish it hit him. Did you hear? Like, I watched videos of people saying, like, I wish it hit him. And where's your sense of humanity?
Can we play a video? Like, can we do that now? Or would you want to edit it in after? So right now we're going to play a video.
You guys are out here on the heels of the attempted Trump assassination. Can I get your reaction to what happened the other day?
Well, it's a shame the person missed, but it's ironic that the shooter was also a Republican, and I am scared about political violence.
You're scared of political violence, but you were hoping that he wouldn't have missed.
Yes.
Wow. Could you elaborate on that? I mean, many people are thankful that the shooter missed and could have led to a lot of conflict in the country.
Regardless if Trump is in power or not, he has a lot of influence, and that makes him a very dangerous person, and nothing will stop. And we want to live, and sometimes Thomas Jefferson wrote a letter that included one of my favorite quotes, that sometimes the tree of liberty needs to be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants.
Do you hope to see others also, if all that holds true, do you want to see others try what this young man tried at this Trump rally?
I don't know if it would do any good.
Okay, interesting, yeah. I see you have a crossbow over here. Can you tell me a little bit more about it and why you decided to bring it here? You have I don't know what it is. It looks like a crossbow.
Yeah, it's a pistol crossbow. I don't like firearms. This is a much safer alternative, and it's used only for personal defense as an absolute last resort.
Wow.
I hope I never have to use it.
Why did you feel compelled to bring it here? Do you feel unsafe?
Very much so. I'm absolutely terrified to be here.
I had one last question for you since it caught my eye. I see you have a hammer and sickle tattoo. Can you tell me more about this tattoo?
I was born in the Soviet Union. I was brought here when I was a little kid, but it's just a symbolism of where I came from. No, I do not support Russia. No, I don't condone anything that it does or that Putin has done. I would consider myself more of a socialist, but it's just a symbol of where I was born.
So it's this big fat lady or man, God knows. And she's in like a rainbow mask and she's got like cat ears on. And this guy goes up to her and it's at a rally the next day and he's interviewing her and he says, you're here for the event today. Just wondered like how you feel about your safety and how do you feel about the Trump assassination? And she says, well, I wish that he didn't miss.
Yeah.
And he goes, sorry, man, like you said that you're afraid of violence and you're afraid for your safety. A lot of people feel the opposite. A lot of people are grateful that he wasn't hit because they felt it would have created quite a controversy and a stir up and it might have
chaos.
It might have created some kind of chaos in the country. And she says, well, I'm not sure, but whatever. And then he goes, by the way, I noticed you're not for, you're a Democrat, but you have a crossbow with you today. You brought a crossbow with you to this event today. And she said, it's a hand crossbow, and I hate guns, and I'm against gun violence, but I've brought this here for my
safety.
In the last case resort. As a last resort, I have this. And I'm thinking, what the fuck are guns for, retard? Like, as a legal gun owner here, my gun is my last resort.
Yeah.
If I am unsafe, if I feel unsafe, I have a gun as a last resort.
Yeah.
So your lethal crossbow, not non-lethal, like that will kill, is your last resort for safety. Like, are these people for real?
Wow.
Isn't that fascinating?
Well, and that she doesn't want danger. She doesn't want like the chaos and all the bad stuff happening, and yet she wishes death on someone.
She's afraid of violence, but she wished that he had killed. She's against guns.
Yes,
She's against guns.
but I wish it hit him.
But I wish
he died.
I wish they assassinated him. So that,
Yeah,
and I'm afraid, and I'm scared of a riot, but I wish that they killed him so that there was a riot. And I'm against violence, but I've brought a crossbow as a last resort. In case I feel unsafe, I can shoot somebody with it. Are these people for real?
Yeah.
So fun. And of course, she's so fat, wearing a rainbow mask, cat ears. And I hate to say this is crazy. She's from the Soviet Union. She's got a Soviet Union tattoo on her arm. She was brought here as a child and identifies as a socialist.
Oh boy.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
So what else?
I want to just talk about.
What about the? Are we done with the? Are we already done with the Trump
No.
assassination?
I want to. No. I'm going back to the Trump
Okay, good,
assassination because I want to talk about the shooter because of how he was portrayed in the mainstream media after. Is that he's like this young innocent boy
And a Republican. Don't forget about that.
Oh.
Okay, because he was a registered Republican. But think about this. Okay, if you want to plan an assassination attempt on the president, you would need to know where he's going to be and what's the best way to get up-to-date information on Trump rallies.
Right.
Probably to register as a Republican.
Oh.
Right? Because I'm probably a registered liberal. Like, I mean, maybe because I get liberal emails because I was a liberal. I did vote liberal, and now I just get them because I like to keep up to date on how retarded they are, and I like to read what retarded things they're writing so that I can repost them and show people how absurd this is. I also get conservative ones too, though. So now here's the other funny thing. He was a registered Republican, but he donated to Biden, by the way.
But they didn't.
But they don't
speak about that.
No, they just call him a registered Republican.
And they also don't put any recent pictures of him in the social in media because that young boy that was the original photo that they shared is not who today's day who he is.
Because some people say he's trans.
Yeah,
People are saying that he's trans.
Yeah.
People are saying that he's trans. That I have seen a picture of him dressed as a trans woman, girl.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're saying that, and they don't want to show you that, of course, because every shooter lately has been a fucking tranny freak on all kinds of medication. They also don't tell you both of his parents are psychotherapists or psychiatrists of some kind. They also don't tell you that when they went to his house to investigate, it was wiped clean. There wasn't one piece of cutlery in that home. There wasn't one dish. There was nothing. That house was wiped clean. There was furniture, but there wasn't.
So what's your thought around why would it be wiped clean?
Hold on, one more thing.
Okay.
There was also someone who was able to run. You know how your ad tracking? Okay, so ad tracking is very creepy because it can show where you're going based on what ads are popping for you or what ads you're getting attracted on your phone.
Okay.
So they found someone that worked in the FBI headquarters, which was very close to his home, that went from the headquarters to his house. Like, I don't remember how many times, but I'm going to say like 20 times. It was quite a few times. So someone that worked in the vicinity of the FBI building, so could be someone that worked for the FBI. Maybe he worked at a sub shop. Just call me Alora. A sub shop down the road. Maybe it was that guy. But I think it's more likely someone that worked in the FBI building was driving to and from Crooks's house.
Right.
Now, Was that MK Ultra? Was that some kind of is he on medication? Kid looks fucked up. Oh, by the way, does anyone know that he was in a BlackRock commercial? Did you guys see that video?
No way.
You didn't see that?
No.
Yep.
What?
In 2020, I think it was. He's in a BlackRock commercial.
Wow.
Yep. So give me a break. I don't believe anymore in coincidences. I've learned that there are no such thing as coincidences. So who is this kid? Why is he in a BlackRock commercial? Why are both of his parents some kind of psychiatrists? Why is there an FBI agent going back and forth to his house? Why is his house wiped clean? Why does his father allow him to just take his gun that's not his to the gun range?
Wow, a lot of questions with this.
Why is he allowed to walk into the event with a gun?
And a ladder.
Why is he allowed to walk around the building? Why is he allowed to climb up a ladder?
Why is he allowed to shoot the president?
Why is he allowed to take a shot?
And to fire 3 shots.
4 shots, 5
4
shots, 6
however
shots, 7
many.
shots. I mean, there was a lot of shots fired.
Wow.
Yeah.
And why is it out of the news now?
Yeah. Why do we know nothing about him? We know nothing about him. He's kept completely silent, but old ladies that were arrested, there was an old lady arrested and given a 10-year sentence for praying at an abortion clinic.
I'm sorry, what?
There was like a 70-something-year-old lady that was arrested, or 80-year-old lady, arrested and sentenced to a long prison sentence for praying outside of an abortion clinic. Yeah, just look up maybe convicted old lady praying abortion clinic.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, let's also add in for fun that at the DNC this year, the Democratic National Convention, they had an abortion clinic and vasectomy clinic set up outside. Do you know that more black babies are aborted every year than are born? Do you know that it's a genocide on the black community, and yet the black community thinks that people that are Republican are racist? Do you know that the Republican Party was created because the Democrats wanted to continue slavery? So they created the Republican Party so that they could try to put an end, like an opposition to the party of slavery?
Wow. Really?
Really.
Do you have more facts? You're firing off some really good ones.
I'm kind of good there.
Wow.
But I mean, I just find that fascinating. Like I don't get how black people support this when they're offering abortions at the outside of the convention.
And
Like, I just
vasectomies.
don't understand that.
I can't believe that. That is so disturbing.
We don't have enough people to repopulate right now. The Western world is literally not producing enough people.
And yet, well, I mean, again, COVID era. What is all this about?
It's all about the great what's it called? The repopulation?
Great
The
Reset?
No. Yeah, look that up. The great
Is this what was on the stones?
the Georgia Guidestones? No. Actually, I don't know.
Because they
if
wanted
this
the
was on there.
population down to 500,000 to reset.
But I don't remember anything about the Georgia Guidestones having anything about the great it's not the reset. It's repopulating. Like they're moving people from one to the next. So what's that?
Redistributing?
Yeah, the great redistribution. Look that up. I don't think that's right, but it's closer.
Because if they're moving people into different places like this very fast too, does it take away culture? Does it take away society?
But it crumbles. It crumbles society.
Well, because you create chaos.
Absolutely.
Right.
Like it's not racist to know that moving hundreds of millions of men from African countries which don't have the same religious beliefs or core values that we have into societies will crush them. I don't understand what people don't understand about that. The reason that immigration in Canada and the US worked really well for all the years that it did was because a majority of people that came were of Christian descent. So we all had the same morals and values guiding us under these laws that were meant to serve and protect all of us. But then you start bringing in, and even with freedom of religion, we've always had freedom of religion. But those people had the same values. We were vetting them. Just because you're a Muslim doesn't mean you're a criminal. Okay? But you were of someone who wanted to go to a country where they could live free. Right? And what's happened now is you've taken people that don't share those values of freedom or religion. And so you're creating complete chaos.
And you're giving a lot of power to people that, a lot of the immigrants that are coming, they're getting a lot of handouts to be here.
And the one thing that really scares me about that is how they're going to try to do citizenship through right to serve in the military. And here's going to be the problem, is that those people have zero allegiance to us in this room.
Oh, that's a huge, what?
Yep.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. Trudeau's talked about it here, and they're talking about it in the U.S. because this is what's happened. So they drove out all the good military guys with the COVID mandates. Okay, they drove them out, and they've driven out
all the ethical ones, right?
And they've driven out any new recruits. Why don't young alpha males want to join the army now? Why would you think? Why are the numbers so low?
Because of tampons in the women's bathroom.
They don't want to be part of that because they know that it's not for them anymore. They've lost their place. That was their place, and now they've ruined it for them, so they don't want to join.
Right.
Okay, so what they're doing is they've completely dismantled the military on purpose so that they'll bring in the immigrants. Okay, and then they'll say, here's what we're going to do. We need young men, and all that's coming in are young men. So we'll bring the young men in, you serve for 2 years, whatever it is, and now you have citizenship. But guess what? They don't give a fuck about America or Americans. So they will follow orders. It'll just be like Venezuela. It'll just be like the Soviet Union. Those people will fire on innocent civilians because they don't have a valid stake in it. They don't care. If you asked a man who was from America to shoot an open fire on Americans, they would not.
Wow. Well, then I hope, because we have an election coming next year, how badly we need Trump to come in and Polyev. Imagine if we had Trump and Polyev, right?
So I'm sorry, but we already have it here. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. So we already have it here. They only have to serve in the military for 3 years and they get citizenship in Canada.
Wow.
Yep. I'm sorry, but you should not be allowed to join the army in Canada until you're a fucking citizen. That's disgusting. That's a loophole. That's wrong. That's wrong.
That's a crazy loophole.
Yeah, that's not right.
So, okay, to wrap up, I want to go over your predictions then.
Well, people, buckle up because I told you guys this before and I've been right every time. Now, there have been a few times since that I've said something's coming and it hasn't come. So I have had misses, but I would strongly suggest that you're prepared for something to go down before November.
I think they're always going to create significant chaos before election anyways. Mm-hmm. So just, buckle up because there's going to be, just to use your strong discernment to be able to see, where's the trickery?
Yeah. Well, monkeypox is coming. If any of you guys remember, maybe we could put a link to it, but there's, remember the black doctor, the lady that was calling out, she was an African lady and she was calling out the COVID hysteria. Right at the very beginning, I'll never forget, she was on the steps of one of the houses of Congress or something, and she had a white coat on, and she was saying it's fake, and she was saying you can treat it with ivermectin. Hydrochloroquine. And the media called her crazy, and we said this yesterday. So think about this. So this is the country that black people can do no wrong. right? Everything's racist. You have a African female doctor, and they all said, you are crazy to her. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a lunatic. They called her a voodoo mama, crazy doctor. How racist is that? How fucking racist is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really bad.
And a white man said, no, you are wrong. You do this. And they listened. It was so racist. Anyway, we could put a link to it, but she, I don't know where I was going with that, but she did a cool talk she did Alex Jones's show the other night, which was crazy. Monkeypox. So that's my prediction. I think they're really trying to push monkeypox or mpox now. They've rebranded it. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yo, listen. The crazy thing about monkeypox is people are saying that it's a vaccine injury. Like it's a development of, because the vaccine is designed to shut your immune system down, which I hate to break it to you people, but that's true. And they're saying it's shingles. They're saying it's like this crazy version of shingles that's like worse than shingles. Like it's quite brutal. And they're saying so monkeypox is actually just shingles. But it's a crazy version of it, and I think that's what they're trying to, because that creepy communist from the World Health Organization, Tedros, whatever, he's already declared monkeypox to be a World Health emergency. Right now, no one's just paying attention, but that's because it's early, and that will come. So probably, I don't know, look for that next month, which I told our daughter, I said, I'm really sorry. I don't want to I need you to brace for the fact that you may not be going to school.
They might shut the world down again with monkeypox. Who knows?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, you need a crisis, right? And
they have to stop those
and then you
people
need
from voting.
Kamala Harris to come in as
They need the
their
communists to come
savior.
in and save everybody with bread lines.
Yeah. With vaccines. Because you can't say. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. I had a good time. Thanks for letting me ramble on about.
I love how much you follow and you know your stuff, because I just learn from you. I mean, I watch what I watch and I read what I can, but
I can only scratch the surface too. Like
I know.
I can only take so much information in, but there's guys that know like a hell of a lot more than me. I'm just trying to keep up with, as much as I can.
But who's listening from us, I hope that it sheds some light on some things that they might not have been aware of.
Yeah, and if you don't like Trump, you know what? A good thing to do would be to look at his kids. His kids are wonderful, actually. And a man who can raise a beautiful daughter, and she's very successful. And the sons are successful and happily married. And then you look at Kamala Harris's fucking tranny, weird, I don't know. I actually think it might be a boy, like a trans boy that's trying to be a girl. But she's fucking creepy, yo. Armpit hair, like really ugly, really gross.
Well, and then Biden's son, who's the most disturbing character. Anyways, it speaks volumes around family morals, family values, faith.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, one more fun fact about Trump. Did you know that he's never had a drink of alcohol or ever smoked a cigarette? Like a drop. Like never had a drop of alcohol.
Really?
He had an older brother, much older brother, who was an alcoholic. And that older brother told him all the time, don't ever take a drink. Don't ever take a drink. And he never did. And there was people that told him that he could never become a tycoon if he didn't drink, because that's how business is done, over scotch. And he said, I don't think so.
Interesting.
Scotch and cigars, and he said, I don't think so. He's never done it. So it's just interesting though, right? Because you can
learn
tell
more
that
about character.
He's not on drugs. You know what I mean? Like he's just fucking off the cuff. Like people think he's like all erratic, but it's just like maybe the clips of how they clip it and stuff too.
Right.
But anyway. Okay, well, thanks.
Great episode. Thanks, Jess.
Yeah.